Hi! Thank you very much for turning back in. My name is Fonny. In my channel, I talk about my houseplant and my Hoyas. In today's video, I want to share an experience with you of a plant store that I have visited. It's called Het Planten Pandje. Well, apart from this, I also want to share my experience flying with a plant. So start off from the first part, a plant store. So Het Planten Pandje, I heard of this store from Ro's video, I think back in winter time or maybe autumn. It's around like 5-6 months ago. It is a plant store in the Netherlands. So I actually flew myself to the Netherlands in order to go to this plant store and to pick up my dream plant. You will see the unboxing or unwrapping of the plant later on in this video, but in this first part I would like to share my experience with you of this plant store first, and also explain a little bit of my experience and a bit of research on how and can we travel with a plant on the plane. So this plant store has a lot of interesting plant when I looked into that plant tour video. However, at that time it's still COVID, the restriction is really tight, it's impossible to travel outside of any country in Europe almost. So I waited and waited. In that video I saw there is Philodendron Florida Beauty with a really reasonable price, and I had that in my mind, just that it's impossible to travel. But I found them on Instagram and I followed them throughout the time, and when spring kicks in and also the restriction has lifted up, I decided to go to do a short trip to the Netherlands, and also it's Easter break, so I found myself a reason to travel. And it was a really nice experience, I would say. So in this little tour, a little bit of the communication I had with them. As I can show you here, I have been just communicating with them through Instagram. They're super kind. I mentioned to them that I'm interested to have Philodendron Florida Beauty, I think 2 months ago, and they say that at the time they have some cuttings offering, and then I said, well, I'm interested in a full plant, so they kept it in mind. I'm really thankful, and I appreciate that a lot. And around 3 weeks ago I booked my ticket to go to the Netherlands for my Easter holiday. I sent them a message asking if I can visit their store, because their store is on appointment only. And they actually remembered that I wanted Florida Beauty. They sent me 2 plants on Instagram showing me that these are the 2 available plants if I'm interested to pick up. And obviously I am so happy to get one of them. On the day when I arrived Utrecht, I walked to the plant store. It took around 40 minutes to walk, but it's much shorter if you take a bus. But because me and my boyfriend just visited Utrecht, so we don't really know where to get the bus and stuff. So when I went to the plant store, I mentioned that I'm going to walk back after I pick up the plant. Yvonne actually offered to drive us back to the city centre, so that's really nice of her to offer. So this one, I really appreciate that. And another part is when I mentioned that I am traveling with my plant, they packed it super safe with a nice box and with a lot of tissue paper, and wrapped it really carefully. So it's just a really good experience in that perspective. Later on in this video, I will also do an unwrapping of the plant to show you how it arrived my home after a long travel. Before I show you the unboxing or unwrapping of the plant, I want to share my experience with you flying with a plant. Now, a lot of us may not have this concern before COVID, but after we have developed this plant hobby, you probably would like to buy some plant while you're traveling. Now that we finally have the opportunity to do that in the US or in the UK or in Europe mostly, we can travel around as long as we have a vaccination certificate. So how can we do that? So in this video, I want to share 3 areas that I would like to share with you and you may need to consider. First is whether it is allowed to bring plants into your country. Second is whether you can check in or whether you can carry on your plant. Thirdly is how to pack your plant. So start off with the first most significant question, because if this is not allowed, we don't need to continue. How do you know if you can actually bring plant to your country? Is to check the custom website. Normally they have a section talking about plant and animals, and in my country it listed clearly saying that it is allowed per person to bring 5 potted house plant into the country. If this has passed, then you may want to double check, not just to the custom, but also you can even check to the agriculture department website. In my condition, I also took a step forward and checked that. So it mentioned it's house plant, which means that if you buy outdoor plant, roses, or you buy like an apple tree, it's not allowed in my country. So this you really need to make sure that you double check what type of houseplant is allowed, because you don't want to end up chucking away the plant in the custom. So that's the first part, whether you can bring plant into the country. If that is a yes, then we'll move on to the second part, which is whether you can hand carry your plant. I tried to look up a lot of information on the internet, but it doesn't seem to have a clear information. There is a clear information for the first part, whether you can bring plant into your own country, but what does it mean? Do I need to check in the plant, or I can have it as a carry-on luggage? It depends on the security in the airport to determine whether you can bring it as a carry-on luggage. And if you check that information, the most important criteria is the water volume and whether it has a sharp edge. So I think as a plant, you can mostly focus on the first part, whether it contains water. Most of the time, security won't allow above 100 milliliter of water. So what I guess, it doesn't really mention in any of the documentary, so I only deduce my conclusion here. So take it with a pinch of salt. However, I did manage to go through security, and also I asked the security both in my country and also in the country I departed. They both answered the same answer. So I can share with you of my experience is that it depends on the soil substrate. If the soil substrate is not water, and also it's not overly moist, that actually can extract more than 100 milliliter of water out, it should be fine to have it as carry-on, because the security only focus on the water volume, but not the plant itself. Whether the plant can be carried to your country depends on the custom. That's the time when you pass through the custom when you arrive your home country. So that's the thing that you need to bear in mind. So if it's like soil, or if it's like sphagnum moss that is just slightly moist, that should be fine, but not water substrate, because if it's water substrate, the only thing that you can do is just to chuck the water away and to fill it back in. So that's the thing that you need to be aware of. If everything goes well, then we can move on to the third part, how to pack your plant when you are traveling. So we can talk about carry-on luggage mostly, because that is what I have experienced. I would carry with a paper bag, because a paper bag is very light and it just looks like a shopping bag. It doesn't contain a lot of volume, so then people won't say that the size exceeded the cabin size. And I also not suggest to buy a huge plant as a carry-on luggage, because it's just difficult to travel with. And as long as it is within the cabin size and also the handbag size, that should be fine. However, what I did is I added some of these fluffy cotton or material that, if you remember, I got it with my billet order. So I have a lot of these. So I wrap the plant around with these cotton. So even if there is no protection in the paper bag, it will still absorb a lot of pressure. So this one I feel much more safe to travel with. And another thing is how you wrap it, so then the soil won't go away. This is more of your own convenient, is that I normally will just tape the soil with the pot, so then I just sealed the top of the pot with tape, so then the soil won't go out. And after wrapping it with the cotton, I also have paper that I wrap together. You can see later on when I'm unwrapping my Florida beauty. And last part would be as a check-in luggage. I haven't experienced that before, because I'm not sure if that is a good idea, because it normally, for the check-in luggage, it will go to the bottom part of the plane, which means that it is relatively colder. I'm not sure if that is below zero or it's like just a couple of Celsius degree. But if you have a really large plant that you're traveling with, I highly suggest you to have a box like this and with a lot of material like this. So it would absorb a lot of pressure when there's a bunch of suitcase that is pressing on the box. I will not recommend that. If you really need to do that, you just need to be prepared. There could be some damage if you are checking in your large plant. All right, all done with the experience sharing of flying with a plant. Now we can move on to the unwrapping of the Florida beauty. Now is 12:30. I just got off the plane, and I'll just unwrap this one together with you, and we can see how it has traveled all the way from one country to another. Finally released. Finally, I unwrapped this one. It took it a bit of time. I picked it up on Friday, and now it's Monday, which is very nice compared to it needs to travel. And this one has grown so much compared to the picture they have showed me when they tell me they have availability of the plant. As you can see here, the plant is planted in plain sphagnum moss, and also if you look closer to the pot, the roots are very obvious and it's very healthy. And also the moisture level of the moss, I would say, is just perfect, even after 5 days. I haven't watered it, I just received it like this. Yeah, and all of the roots are just very strong and healthy. And I think I can tilt it a little bit and you can see that the underneath there's one root coming out as well. All right, what I'm going to do right now is I will spray some neem oil, and then I can show you a close-up of the day that I just unwrapped it. So this is fresh out of the airplane. Now you can take a close-up of the Florida Beauty. It is very, very nice variegation. This one, I believe, is the oldest cutting. Then it has grown out this one over here. If I remember correctly, this one leaf and also the first leaf here, I saw it on the video that is created by Rose, and that's how I discovered this plant store. I'm really happy that the plant that I really wanted on that video actually still existed in the store, and then I can actually have this full pot of Florida Beauty. And you see over here, that one is the second leaf, and I believe this one here is the third leaf that has grown out. After that, it should be this one, also with very nice variegation. The latest leaf, it looks like it is a full variegated leaf over here. This one, maybe it will turn a little bit, I'm not sure, but I'll let you know. It is because this is still relatively young leaf and it seems like it's not hardened yet. And this one is the new leaf coming out. It is much larger than the picture that is shown by the plant store at the time when they asked me if I wanted the plant. And let's take a closer look at the very nice roots. So because of the transparent pot, you can see all of the roots are existed and it's growing really nicely. And there is a new one that is popping out. I will not water this one anytime soon, but I believe this plant will like to be constantly constantly moist in the sphagnum moss. So yeah, this is such a nice specimen, and I'm really happy that I finally managed to have a Florida Beauty. It has been crazy in the plant market, and one leaf is very, very expensive. And now I managed to have a pot of Florida Beauty. I think it will be a very nice plant addition in my home. And yeah, there you go. Thank you very much to stay until now. I wish you enjoyed the unwrapping of my dream plant. And also you find it interesting with the plant store, Het Planten Pandje. I'm pretty sure that I butchered the pronunciation, but I tried. And also you find it helpful of the information that I experienced with traveling with the plant. If you have any questions in particular with this order, or any questions of flying with a plant, or suggestion that you have when you experienced flying or carrying on a plant with you, or even checked in your plant with you while you're traveling, please leave your comment down below so then I can learn more from everyone as well. If you are interested in this type of content and you don't want to miss out next time when I post new videos, please feel free to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out next time. Well, until next time, I wish everyone is having a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!